Hey y'all, I'm going to show you how I installed this Allure resilient plank flooring from Home Depot. The style is called African wood. And after much nonsense and miscommunication, I finally was able to get my hands on it. I have installed it throughout the entire house already. I am doing the last bit of the installation in this very small closet in my hallway. Here you see me using a multifunction oscillating tool to undercut the door trim so that I can slide the plank as closely to the edges of the floor as possible for a much more professional result. These cute little chips are what was cut from underneath the door trim. Next, gotta sweep that all up with a wet vac. Do not use your regular vacuum to do this, you will mess it up. Buy a wet vac that you can also use as a dry vac to get up all the sawdust and stuff. Now what I'm doing is measuring the doorway to make sure that I get the right cut. Always measure twice and cut once. Trust me, you do not want to waste a whole bunch of this flooring on mistakes. Like the peel and stick flooring that I got from Lowe's that I did the 2 bedrooms and the bathroom in, the Allure resilient plank vinyl is really easy to cut. What you will do is make sure that you make your equal measurements on both sides using a very straight ruler or measuring stick. Then you're going to use that straight edge of that measuring stick to make a straight line from the measurements you made on both sides of the plank. Give it a score about 3 or 4 times. These Allure vinyl planks are actually double the thickness of the peel and stick. They measure a 3.8 millimeter thickness, so you're going to need to score it a couple more times than you would the peel and stick so that you will get a clean break when you get ready to snap it in half, as I'm getting ready to do. Hi. There you go, 2 clean breaks. Now, I did have to go and resize this. You got to make sure that when you go to install the vinyl plank on the actual floor, that there is some space, at least 1/8 of an inch on both sides from the walls to allow for expansion and contraction. During the seasons, you will have the planks change their shape and their size a little bit. It's so important to do this, otherwise you may incur buckling, and you do not want that. It's expensive to fix. These are Wiss multi-purpose cutters. These things are amazing. This I also bought at Home Depot. You can cut all kinds of stuff with this. I wish that I had bought this at the beginning of the flooring project, because they made this last bit of installing this flooring so much easier. So sometimes if you have to take off a little bit of an edge, scoring it with your box cutter is not going to do it. These multi-purpose cutters are the business. Even if you don't install flooring, you might want to put these in your toolbox because they will cut through anything. But also keep them away from children because they will cut through anything. Now this Allure vinyl plank is grip strip, which means that that little gray area that you saw there has adhesive on it. Where I'm installing it underneath of the other plank, it also has grip strip adhesive on it. Once those 2 grip strips meet each other, they are, well, not forever bonded, but I mean, it's pretty much a permanent bond. You only have 15 minutes to take them apart from each other before you're going to end up with no adhesive on the back of them. So make sure that you take your time and make good decisions when installing this plank. Now I'm going to have to make a shorter odd cut, just measuring that area. As you can see, that little brown, the little gray area is the grip strip that's exposed. Here again, I have scored the vinyl plank, gently snapping it in half and applying that gray grip strip to the vinyl plank underneath and interlocking it with the one that I've just put in before it. This installation is pretty easy, about as good as it was to do the peel and stick. They do both have pros and cons to them. I'm going to get into that in the next video about mitering. I'm going to do a little comparison of the Allure Vinous versus the peel and stick. But I really do like this flooring. It's a beautiful color. You can't go wrong with it. Any decor can pretty much go with this. And it was really easy to work with. It's quite a bit different from the peel and stick, but I still like it. And installing the last little bit of grip strip in the back. It is also going to be an irregular cut of like 2 1/4 inches. So I have to use one of the scrap pieces of plank that I had left, measuring that out with me handy measuring stick. Again, you really want to measure twice and cut once. It will save you from wasting a whole bunch of flooring, which I wasted none. I actually had bought 18 boxes to do only the living room, dining room, and hallway, and I ended up with 2 additional boxes because I was very frugal with it. And I ended up doing the kitchen with it, and I had no intentions of doing the kitchen with this flooring, but I loved it so much I went ahead and used it. I thought I was going to have to ask the landlord to buy 2 more boxes to cover the kitchen, but I was able to complete this project with 1 extra room with 1 additional plank left over. Now, if you have to score an odd piece like this that's very narrow, you may not get it to snap off cleanly, but once you do get it bent, you can pretty much take your box cutter and go in and gently slice off that backing. And save all your little odd pieces because you never know when you might need them. Here I'm showing you one of those little odd pieces, and it's kind of rugged and jagged on the sides where it's been manually cut by me. What I did with these pieces is I took my box cutter and gently cut off those rugged areas, just giving them a nice smooth fit. Because once you put that down next to another piece of the grip strip, another piece of the plank, if those little rugged edges are exposed, it may not actually fit in the area that you cut it for. So make sure that you get rid of those areas so that the planks will fit flush up against each other. Very important. Now for this piece, I'm showing you that only one side has grip strip exposed on the downside. What I need to do is put a small piece of grip strip there to fill in the hollow gap, because if this was a high traffic area, which it's not because it's the closet, but if it was a high traffic area and I did not put that small piece behind there, when you walk over that, you'll be able to feel that there's something missing underneath the floor. So to make it completely level, all those little save pieces you're going to use to actually fill in the gaps of the back of the grip strip that's not exposed upwards but underneath of the floor. And here I am installing the last of the vinyl grip strip. Even though this was a really long, painstaking process to do this, especially being that I work in a salon, this is the summertime and it's my peak season, it is very rewarding being able to see that I did this project all by myself in such a large apartment, and I have no prior experience with the exception of the peel and stick. But I am not a flooring expert. I am not a carpenter, but I did that. Another thing that I did, this is just me. I took some screen that you would use for like a patio, cut it just a little bit bigger than the size of your air vents, and I installed it underneath of the grip strip flooring. So to keep out any of those giant spiders or those weird beetles that you've never seen before, and you call your mom and ask if it's a roach, and it's not. Now, we got to do transition strips to go from room to room where the flooring changes. So going from my driftwood bedrooms to the common African wood, I've got to have transition strips. I think the standard in the industry is to use a transition strip for the room that you're entering. However, the driftwood did not come in any type of T-molding, so I had to go with the African wood, and it was really easy to work with. The subfloor that I have is concrete. The drill that I have will not drill through concrete, so I had to come up with another solution to be able to take the transition strip and attach it to the floor. So I just used that E6000 super glue, and I glued down the track. And this actually sets pretty fast. I don't even think I was away from it for 30 minutes before it was set in place. So I literally like glued it down, went and cut the transition strips, and by the time I came back, the track was already set in place, wasn't moving. And now is just the part where I will install the transition strip, and you make sure that you press down on it so those little tracks on the underside of the transition strip will click down into the track. Very, very simple. I thought it was going to be a lot harder, but it's actually really super simple, and it looks great. So beautiful. Here is a view of the African wood Allure resilient plank vinyl. I love the way it turned out. I herringboned it to run it the length of both the dining room and the living room. That was not something that I had instructions for. I kind of winged it, hopefully that it would turn out like that, and it turned out just the way I liked it. So here, just enjoy me being myself in my house. I just want to let you guys know that the flooring was not that difficult to do. More hands, the faster it'll go. Don't be intimidated to do it. Even if you have a small room like a bathroom, you can update and make it look so much better by just changing the flooring that you have. And again, this flooring was $1.79 a square foot. The peel and stick was $1.49 per square foot. So it just depends on what your budget is. If you're going to do a smaller room, go for it. Just save up a couple bucks and then buy it. Take your time. That's most important. Take your time and get the proper tools that you need in order to complete your flooring project. And like I said, if you're kind of intimidated, you really don't know what to do, and tutorials and reviews aren't doing enough for you, find somebody who has some experience. You really don't have anything to lose but money. And they're pretty forgiving to work with. So get out there and remodel something, renovate something, beautify something, refresh something. It's kind of awesome to be able to look at something that you did that you didn't think you could do, and it's awesome. You can be so proud of yourself. Also, this floor really is resilient. That's why I'm skate jamming on it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.